Hey, so there's something that I've been watching a couple videos about on like YouTube about what's going on between Russia and Ukraine and stuff. And there's one thing that bothers me about it. There's this guy. So there's this guy Connor Clyde, right? He's been making like YouTube videos for like a while, and he started like in the dating niche, I think, and like how to date whatever Russians or Ukrainians. I don't know his situation. Like I don't know if he's Ukrainian or Russian or what he is, but I think primarily he stays in like Ukraine. I don't know. I'm not fully I don't have a full grasp on what the deal is. And then also there's this guy, the Coach Red Pill guy, who I never liked. Never liked this guy from now all of a sudden I never liked him from his like red pill videos, and then all of a sudden he blew up into this whole thing. And obviously, so the problem that I have is like I'm not like, as far as content for getting somewhat of an idea of what's going on, it's like this guy, the Coach Red Pill guy, the Duran, and then this Connor Clyde guy or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure there's more, but so you go watch their videos and it's like, so one guy is like, you're either what do you call it? You're promoting a narrative. Like it's always promoted. Like you're always like either promoting a narrative or you are, what's the word? You are like a Russian propagandist or something like that. You're like you're either pro Russia or you're pro, and what drives me insane is like it's always there. To me, that in and of itself is like just not true, right? It's just not true, because things don't hash out that way. Cookie crumbles don't work out in like you're either this or that, or you're this or that, or you're this or that. There's a lack of nuance, which is something that's super cliche. Like, oh, things are nuanced. And then on YouTube, obviously people, are monetized or whatever. I don't care about monetization at all whatsoever. And I don't present well. Like right now, I look crazy. My hair. So if someone, I was just thinking, like, if someone were to watch my videos, or for some reason, I just don't look good, but I don't want to edit my video. I don't want to edit them. I don't want to polish them up. And I don't have a clear idea that I'm trying to portray. Like, yeah, I look terrible. I've been wearing the same shirt already a bunch. I'm just a person. I'm not, and I think, it's not about me, who I am as a person, but I think a lot of people, I can't speak for anyone else, but I want to see people who are just real people, who are just, who I can relate to, who are not promoting some sort of agenda or anything like that. Not to say that there's not, obviously this is going on, so that's gonna exist, but yeah, I mean, and it's so if you say anything pro, if you like Russian stuff, and it's a weird situation, because it's like I stayed in Ukraine for a bunch of months, so then it's like, what is Russia and what is Ukraine? Russian government and Ukrainian government and Russian military is just Russian people. So Russian military is made up of, or no, military is made up of people, regardless of where you're at. So talking about Russian or a military in terms of a concept is not the same as talking about people. So the whole thing gets very confusing, and it's extremely frustrating when people paint other people into a corner and say, oh, you're like a Russian propagandist, you're like saying these things, whatever. And I'm trying to think, I'm like, okay, we're just the normal people, like where did they go? And I guess like we're just normal people who are just like living not regular, but just like they don't have an agenda. They just like Russia. They want to go to Russia. They want to do basic stuff. They want to live in an apartment, and whatever. And yeah. So I want to meet those people, and I'm sure they're out there. They're probably not on YouTube, and I feel like I'm gonna get like I just imagine if people like saw my video, just by accident, like they're just like, oh, there's this guy, he like I could just imagine getting like crucified, like for on so many different levels, like, oh, you look like shit, like like, don't come here. I can imagine, what would be the worst is like just like for Russians to hate me and be like, fuck you, like don't come here, like we hate you. And the reason I'm putting these videos out, the reason I'm filming is because I'm not trying to like polish up, and I'm not trying to like present any kind of idea. I'm just trying to I don't know. It's really bad. Like these videos are not good. But even if I were to like clean up and like maybe have an outline of what I want to talk about, I would still just try to keep it as natural as possible and I'm trying to come from like the depths of my brain, like I'm trying to kind of like figure out for myself what is my deal, like why do I want to do this, what is going on, like where does this come from? Because of course I could just like in school I can make an outline and say, well, I want to go because of this and I want to experience this, but it's because it's just so bizarre to me of what my thing is. Why do I want to go? I see and it's always evolving. I'm at a stage right now where like I've been obsessing over it. Not obsessing, but like I think about it consistently, and then it just gets to a point where it's like it's too much to handle, and I get like upset, and I'm like, I just don't care anymore, like so yeah. So watching these videos about whether it's the Duran or this guy Connor Clyde, who I never really, he speaks, the thing about this guy is that he's got very advanced verbal skills. That was my impression. Like he knows really how to present like an argument or whatever, which is like really good. But, then you have to think about other things like, well, he has a YouTube channel that he's trying to maintain. So he has to present this sort of like, and he kind of consistently, presents his point of view of like whatever, surrender monkey, or, which is all about, politics, which I don't know anything about what's going on politically or militarily. I don't understand the situation. My point of view is that there's just so many unknowns because the people making these deals, like Finland, for example, like Finland and NATO is the latest thing, right? And it just makes me think, there's just so many, because once you understand about like the true nature of the world, and you understand things like compartmentalization, and like things are just not what they seem generally. So I wouldn't go ahead and assume that, just because you hear things or you have some sort of like supposed intel, that you really know exactly what's really going on. And I could be wrong about that, but I prefer to maintain this state of like uncertain, like just I don't trust anything. So like Finland and NATO, for example, like right on the face of it, I just don't know. Like I don't know. Like, is it as straightforward as like applying to NATO or whatever or whatever? I don't even know what NATO is. And then you see people like in the comments, and then they're like, first of all, who are these people? Who are these commenters? I don't know. Like, even like, I don't trust really commenters. Like, I don't know if they're real people. I don't know what their deal is. And then, so I start to think like, oh, like, am I paranoid? Like, am I paranoid or whatever? So, in a way, yeah. I guess that by definition, that sounds like you're paranoid. But then on the other hand, it's like, yeah, like, so yeah, but yeah, for like, so the Finland thing, or NATO, like, oh, you are, oh, welcome aboard to NATO. So it's like, oh, if you live in a NATO country, now you're like, but you don't know what the fuck NATO is about. You don't know about NATO, bro. Like, you're just along for the ride. Like, nobody asked you. Which brings me to another point. Like, oh, what do you because I think about this all the time, because I'm like, I hate being forced into a box of like, oh, well, do you support this? Do you support that? Or do you denounce this or whatever? Which I don't, that's why I don't even want to talk to anyone, because I don't want to get into that kind of discussion. But, I think about like, well, what would be a good like response to that? And my thought was like, nobody called me and asked me, hey, about anything. Nobody called me about a presidential candidate. Nobody called me about all these things that they're doing. Nobody called me to ask me, run it by me, if it was cool to like give stimuluses out. So on either side of the deal, so like, and as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, nobody asked you either. Nobody called you up to run it by you either. So it's none of my fucking business, But people want to take sides, and I used to be like that too. I used to think, because I served in, I was in the Navy and I went to Iraq, and I was just thinking the whole time, I was like, these things are not fair. And I remember having a distinct thought. It's like, this sucks for these people, but I'm just glad that I'm on the side. I'm on the powerful side. And as soon as I had that thought, I was like, that's bad. Like that's disgusting. That's just, I felt immediately, I was like, that I can't, like, I knew that I was in the wrong. I knew, and that was before I came to the realization that like, when you involve yourself with certain things, you're, complicit through your involvement, and you better know what you're like getting yourself into. So if like, when you sign up for these things, when you put yourself in these type of situations, you're involving yourself in stuff that is beyond what you can understand. And it goes into like a kind of like a metaphysical, psychic realm that, I definitely didn't have the understanding about when I was like 20. And now I have a sort of like, I definitely don't have any kind of detailed understanding where I can explain it, but I have kind of like a preternatural like understanding of like, yeah, you need to be careful of what you get involved with. So yeah, as far as YouTube fucking sucks, man. Like, I'm not making these videos to like get any kind of monetization. These videos are like, I almost hope nobody watches them, but I feel the need to like just put something out. These are not intended to be like watched, really. I just hope if anyone just happens to see, I'm just like a normal person. I'm just trying to put something out there to express myself. Um, Not in any kind of polished way, but it's just to put myself out there and of what I think about things. But I don't vibe with any of these, YouTube people talking about anything. Um, I'm not. So then I start to think, well, if I don't care about this, like, does that make me a bad person? And I, I just no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that you're a regular person. These things do not involve you, so you're not obligated to care about this stuff, okay? Um, like, and I have to be honest, like, I stayed, so, and I'm not on either side. Look, I'm not on either side. But it seems like I am. But I have to pick I'm not picking a side, but it's just like I like Russia, okay? Like whatever. Like I'm not pro Russia anything. I don't know anything about the politics in Russia. I really don't. Like I'm stupid. I just don't. I don't know anything. But like for example, like I stayed in Ukraine for 4 months with this guy. He was awesome. Let me stay there for 4 months. Um, and then he sent me, he's a Ukrainian guy. Obviously, I had to leave and do all this stuff. But like, I don't believe people, because I know how people are. Like, they exaggerate stuff, and like, you have to like look a certain way and like whatever. And I mean, I don't know. He was like, oh, he had to leave with his family. It wasn't safe. Da da da. Like, so okay, and he had to evacuate or whatever. He has an Airbnb in Kiev, really nice place. I was in it for 4 months. But then he sent me like another, and he was cool. Like we were going back and forth. I never really got along with him. He's like kind of like, we just don't, our personalities don't match. Like, just like that. Like I just never really, he's a cool guy, but I can't relate to him. He kind of like was always messaging me, and I was like, I like to be left alone. And I was just like, you know, I, I feel it makes me feel rude and like a dick. He was a great guy. I just whatever, like I'm just not that type of person. But he messaged me saying that he was on a podcast, some podcast or whatever, and it's like he sent me the link. I did listen to it, but then I felt like I had to like respond and be like, oh wow, like I just don't. I listened to the podcast. He got interviewed by some artist from San Francisco, some fucking guy that I just don't like. I just don't like. I hate people. I cannot relate to like fake. Just I feel like forced sympathy, like forced. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. And it just like it just because it fits like yeah okay you're supposed to feel a certain way, but it just feels like forced, and it's very hard to explain, like oh my gosh, it's a tragedy, and it's like yeah okay it sucks, yes I know, but then the guy, like the Airbnb guy, he was like his name's Alex, his name he was like, yeah, so I registered with the, so I registered with the fucking army or whatever, and you know, there was like a long pause, like like when someone says something and it waits for a reaction, and I don't know, I just felt really like weird about it. Like he's trying to get props for like registering with the, come on man, like I don't know. So I just didn't answer him. So it gives me a conflict. It's like, do I not like these people? Like, do I have no sympathy for these people? I mean, I don't know what to like. I know what I think. My initial thought, it was like, this is terrible. To see these buildings get blown up, and it's just like, it killed me. It killed me. because it's so beautiful to me. And then for these poor people, Ukrainians, who I love them, like, they're so sweet, and then they have to leave. But then now I want to go to Russia, so would that make me a terrible person? You know? And so it's just a weird freaking place to be at, right? You know? But yeah, I can't get caught up on it. I can't get, like, stuck on that. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to really say. But I guess the point is that if I had to present, like, one idea, is that, like, there's so much confusion. The word of the day is, like, confusion. Just being confused about, one, what is real, two, what you're supposed to feel, three, who is honest and who's lying, and that's just the state of the world that we're in. So I decided to just close my eyes and I say, look, the point, if you can't make heads or tails out of stuff, then the only thing left to do is just to follow your gut, just follow your intuition, and don't question it. And sometimes these things are, like, very difficult to explain, and maybe they don't need an explanation. But I don't know. That's where I'm coming from. That's why I'm making these videos or whatever. I really hate doing this. I look so dumb, but I really apologize to anyone watching this. And I really, like, I clean up a lot better, trust me. And about my hair, like, the thing about my hair is that, I think it's gonna sound so stupid too, but, like, I got a haircut. I cut my own hair in St. Petersburg last year in September, and I just haven't cut it since then. And it's like I just didn't cut it. So now every time I look at my hair, I think about, like, oh, I haven't cut it since since Russia, and that has, like, meaning for me. That's, like, valuable to me or whatever. So I haven't cut it since then, but I will cut it, and I need to trim my beard or something. Just haven't done it. Whatever. But I can clean up. Yeah. Anyway, okay.